necessary to get a business loan, but please go over to 49. And let's look at question number 4, which is a very interesting question. Pra, would you read that?
Is it possible for people who are in their economic class? If so, how can they do it? Is there more possibility of this in some countries than in others?
Okay, that's a very big question. Now, I want to be sure that everyone's clear about this. Is it possible for people to move up in their economic class? Means, if you are born into a very poor family, what are the possibilities of you moving up?
If successfully I move from my place to Bangkok for 5 years and money back to them like
Okay, now you brought up a very, very important point.
Yeah.
2 things that people usually have to do. 1, relocation, which you did. You relocated from the provinces, went to the city. People do that all over the world. What's another thing that helps a person rise? Relocation, and what else? That you make sure your children have what? What? Education. Right. Education and relocation can be big factors. Now here's something interesting, class. I Googled, looked up which countries are best, because it says here, if so, how can they do it? Is there more possibility of this in some countries than in others? And the answer is yes. It's much easier in some countries to rise in class than others. So, here is a list according to the ones that are supposed to be, let's say, the easiest. Number 1, Denmark. Number 2, Sweden. Number 3, Finland. Number 4, Netherlands, also known as Holland. Everyone expects US to be number 1.
Yes.
It's not. Then comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 US. 5. And I understand the US has been going down as far as giving people, it's not that they decide, but where a person has the opportunity to rise economically. Number 6 is Ireland, then the UK, then Austria, then Germany, Belgium, France, Slovenia, and Spain. I stopped there. So I thought that was just rather interesting. Now, we said 2 things, education and relocation. Other things get into it too, but those are 2 important factors, so Nadia, I'm glad you mentioned that. Now the number 5, please read that number 5 what? 5.
Brainstorm the problems of very poor people. Then brainstorm possible solutions to these problems. Write your ideas in the chart below.
Okay, we're not going to do that. Now brainstorm just means we all compare our ideas. That's brainstorm. So if you have the problem of very poor people, can you think of what some countries have tried to do? Or what you think might be a good idea? We see very poor people in the city. There are very poor people everywhere. What has Thailand tried to do? Anybody know?
Governor give for village per 1 million, now is 2 million baht per village for people who are borrow. They have a good local village.
Oh, a government loan?
Yes, governor give per village 2 million baht for people in
Okay, so the government.
In turn, when they borrow this year, when they pay back, they borrow more like this.
Okay, so Nadi is saying
Yes,
the Thai government gives the village money for people to borrow?
Yeah, for poor people. In the village still.
ทรายเขียนโครงการน่ะไม่ใช่อยู่ดีเขาให้ต้องเขียนโครงการ
If you have the
อาจาร
project,
ย์ไม่ใช่อาจารย์บอกเลยต้องเขียนโครงการ
Okay, problem.
ไลฟ์แฟนมา
Speak please in English.
All right, tell us.
I don't know about this, but
But I think this is very good
poor
point.
nowadays in Thailand, poor students can borrow some money from the government to support their education.
To go to college?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, government loans for college.
Yes.
Yeah.
But pay back too. But some people don't pay back.
Everyone always says that. Well, the U.S. started government loans for college around the 1960s, and people were not paying back.
Yeah.
And then the government cracked down, and they go after people. So now, many people come out of college in the U.S. owing the government huge amounts of money, but they pay back because the government has gone after them. There used to be stories about people graduating from college and driving expensive cars and having nice clothes, didn't pay back their money. So they went after those people very much. But Nadi, you're talking about getting loans for a business or something in the village?
Yes, but people in the village borrow money in a long way. Exactly the idea government for people no have business for show the bank or like that. They give okay. Then they need to investment on the farm like that.
So where did they pay back the money done? Are they paying back the government?
No, they have fund in the village per village.
Who takes care of the money in the village?
The least village, the essential village.
The who?
Least village and essential village.
Oh, the mayor of IC, local government.
Yes.
Local government. Okay. You know, Claus, when they started in the 1960s or 70s, they started the war on poverty. And the president of the country at the time, he was sincere. We're going to wipe out poverty in this country. So they began to provide a lot of monies for people who were really desperately in need. So right now we have food stamps. If you have under a certain amount of money, you get food stamps so that you can get food. And then you can get a monthly stipend from the government. Well, they did this for a long time, and then they found out it really wasn't working. Because what happens is, we had families when nobody had ever gone to work. In other words, grandparents, parents, children, all lived on money from the government. So this was not good for people. People were not even learning to work. So I'm only showing there's no easy answer. There's no easy answer. It's very difficult everywhere. So, okay, so we're just going to go on reading. Now we're going to go ahead and look at number 3. Okay, and I'm going to ask you to repeat the words, and let's see which ones we need to know about before we begin the rest of the reading. We're looking on page 49, first nouns. These are words connected with the articles we'll read. Capacity. Character. Collateral. Eradication. Fund. Grants. Literacy. Micro-lending. Poverty. Requirement. Funding. Lift. Plow. Took or take the initiative. Anonymous. Subsidiary. Worthless. Social ills. Peer pressure. All right, I'm going to talk about some of these words. Capacity what we're going to see is that if a person goes to a bank for a loan and wants to start a business, one thing the bank examines is the person's capacity. But here it means the ability to run the business. That's all. We're not going to stop and go over that. You'll see it when we read about it. The character, one thing I don't like in this article, they say the person, one thing that a bank looks for is that the person has character. Well, there's good character and bad character. Here they tell us that it means honesty. So I think they should have just said that they examine whether the person has good character. In the case of people like us in the cities going to a bank, they will probably look at our credit standing. Have you paid your bills? Okay? In a small community or a small village, it's the other people who will probably know, is this person an honest person or not?
Same the qualification?
As a qualification, yeah. Yeah, as a qualification for getting the loan, yeah. In a big city like Bangkok or in New York, if you go to the bank, they're going to do a credit check on you. Have you paid your bills? Okay. Collateral. That's what we talked about. If you own a house or you own property, that's collateral. Something the bank can get from you if you don't pay your loan. It's much easier to get a loan from a bank if you've got collateral. Okay. Eradication. That just means wipe out. If we want to eradicate poverty, we want to wipe it out. Eradicating anything means wiping it out, getting rid of it.
Eliminate.
Yes, exactly, Bill. Very good. Eliminate. Very good synonym.